Rocket Mortgage. Need a mortgage that fits your life? Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Jake Asman.
Rose over the timeline, at the left wing for three, knocks it down. The Knicks down 21 early in the second, up 85-81 with 1:10 left in the third.
How about the New York Knicks? Ed Cohen on the call on Knicks radio there. The Knicks come back down 21 points on the road and take down the defending NBA champs 113-98 in Milwaukee. Now, I get it. The Bucks did not have Chris Middleton. Brook Lopez didn't play as well. But they still had Giannis. They still had a lot of that team that won a title. And when the Knicks were down 21 and they couldn't hit a shot in the first half to save anyone's life, did you really think the Knicks were going to not only come back, but blow out the Bucks? I mean, this marks the first time in franchise history that the Knicks have overcome a 20-point deficit to record a double-digit victory since the NBA began tracking play-by-play and box scores during the 97-98 season. This just doesn't happen. The old Knicks never win this game. The old Knicks get mollywomped. But this is not the old Knicks. The Knicks are so much better than what they even were last year. And last year, they grossly overachieved. Their win total was 22.5. They won 41 games. They hosted a playoff series. They weren't ready for the Hawks. The Hawks were better. But this Knicks team is so much better. A big reason why is, well, they have way better offense. The Knicks have the second best offense in basketball as of today. Why is that? Well, they're shooting more threes. Kemba Walker coming in. Evan Fournier coming in. RJ Barrett continuing to ascend to a star in this league. RJ Barrett's last 5 games, he's averaging 25 points a game. 5 straight 20-plus games for RJ Barrett. Now, look, I wanted Zion as much as anyone as a Knicks fan, but Zion can't stay on the court. That's a big issue. RJ's been out there, and he plays unbelievable defense in addition to his growing offensive game. So RJ is going to continue to take that next step, it appears, in year 3. He's the future of this team going forward. But really, a guy I want to give love to here is Derrick Rose. You heard that 3-pointer there on Knicks radio coming back from the break. Derrick Rose is in that spot in his career where it's like the perfect situation for him. Like, he now knows what he has to do to still be a really good NBA player. Like, this guy was the youngest MVP ever at age 22. And injuries robbed him of a career that could have been one of the all-time great careers in basketball. But this guy now just knows his role. He's added 3-point shooting to his game. Like, if you can't respect what Derrick Rose has done in his basketball career, the way that he has found a role for himself, the way that he's become a better passer, a better defender. Like, the Knicks do not win this game last night without Derrick Rose coming off the bench. I mean, Derrick Rose goes out there and he shoots 10 of 18. He's a plus 31, finishes with 23 points. He gives you 8 rebounds. He gives you 2 steals, 4 assists. Like, this guy is in the perfect situation with Tom Thibodeau coaching him up. And I couldn't be happier for Derrick Rose, man. I mean, this guy's unfortunately getting robbed of an all-time great career due to injuries, but he's figured it out. Like, Rose doesn't have to score 30 points anymore. The reason why the Knicks are so good is the depth they have. You know, Kemba Walker, barely played in the second half. Why? Well, Rose was better. Ride the hot hand. Evan Fournier didn't play in the second half, basically. Why? Well, he stunk last night. He was 1 of 6 from 3. Okay. You don't need him. Why is that? Well, because you got guys off the bench you can give the ball to. Like, Alec Burks deserved to play more last night. Emmanuel Quickly deserved to be out there with the starters down the stretch. He had a huge game for this team. He was a plus 18. His energy was infectious. Nerlens Noel. His defense on Giannis Antetokounmpo changed the game for the Knicks. Julius Randle went out there, gave you 32. Proven last year was not a fluke in his comeback or most improved player of the year season. The question for the Knicks I have, though, is this. They're still clearly another superstar away from being a championship level team. But what's the ceiling this year for them? Because they're doing it the right way. They got the right coach. They got the right executive who traded a second-round pick to my guy Brendan Riley's Pistons to get Derrick Rose. That looks like one of the best trades the Knicks have made ever. Like, you look at this Knicks team, like, clearly they're not better than Brooklyn. A healthy Bucks team you'd think is still better. I mean, the Sixers without Simmons, though, the Knicks beat the Sixers. Like, could they beat Philly? I don't think it's crazy. They've already beaten the Celtics this year. Like, if the Knicks shoot well, on any given night, they can hang with anyone in the NBA. But I don't look at them as a legit championship contender yet. But what's the ceiling for this team? Can they win a playoff round? I think they can. If they get in the top 4, I think they could win a playoff round. I think you compare them to some of the other teams in the East, it's more wide open than it's been, especially if Kyrie Irving continues to just not get the vaccine and not play for the Nets. The Nets, to me, are still the best. Milwaukee's going to be right there. But the way the Knicks have played this year, 6-3, the way their young players continue to develop, like Obi Toppin and Emmanuel quickly, and obviously RJ Barrett's turning into an all-star. He has a legit chance if this continues to make his first all-star game in year 3. Like, this team's good. They play good defense. They obviously have one of the best coaches in the NBA in Tom Thibodeau. As someone who has watched bad basketball for most of my life as a fan of this team, it's been refreshing to see what we've gotten from the Knicks. They play hard every night. They play a brand of basketball that's not selfish. Egos get checked at the door. Like Kemba Walker's a multi-time all-star. He doesn't mind that he's not playing down the stretch. Why? Because Derrick Rose is in the same spot. He doesn't mind if Kemba has the hot hand. And this team's depth is a real weapon. They obviously need another bona fide star, in my mind, to be at the level of the Nets, to be at the level of like the Lakers and the Clippers and those type of teams. Even Golden State now looks as legit as they've been since they're 7-1 and they're going to get Klay Thompson back soon. But, man, I think if you're a Knicks fan, you got to enjoy the ride because this team has given you garbage for basically 20 years. And now you have legitimate expectations to not just sneak into the playoffs as the 8th seed. But I think every Knicks fan should want this team to try and finish in the top 3 in the East. Why not? You were 4th last year. The team improved. I was a bit weary coming into the year about, well, could the Knicks be a better team overall but not finish 4th? But look at the East right now. Who scares you? The top of the top is Brooklyn. You got Milwaukee. Philly's been really good. And then after that, like the Bulls, the Heat are really good. All right. The Celtics seem like a mess. Like, I think if you're the Knicks, your goal should be to try and crash the party in that top 3 if you can pull it off. Win a playoff round this year. Continue to make yourself an attractive destination for a star to want to come play with you. And then you have the infrastructure in place, you could be a legitimate championship contender. So we shall see. But as a diehard Knicks fan, it's nice to watch a watchable product.
If you're like me, you've been hearing a lot about burials and